Hello and welcome to Sad Klocki Hour. I'm Pro LC and I'm real good at podcasting. So if you don't know, Sad Klocki Hour is the podcast for people without enough Lego. This is episode 4. That's right, we've made it to the same number as Star Wars in 1999. Wow, very cool. Anyways, we got some good topics today. Couple big rants kind of things, overall things that upset me, and maybe you can be a little sad with me, just a little sad. So today we're going to be talking about some CMF rumors. There's some talk about that. We're going to discuss the Osprey and military in general in Lego form. We're also talking about the Universal Monster reveal, I guess is what you would call it, and predictions for the future. I have no inside information, but let's talk. And then we'll talk about the big brand crossovers, Ikea, Levi, Adidas, making some big waves in the news community that Lego's leaving the toy box and entering the consignment shop. I don't know what kind of store sells all three of those. Anyways, it's going to be a fun show. Hopefully you enjoy it. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, like the video, rate the video, whatever, the podcast if you're listening to it somewhere else. And I'm gonna go into the first segment. It's got its own intro thing. Okay, so I'm just gonna do it. Normally I do some kind of intro and you'll probably hear the intro, but I'm just gonna get into a section. We're gonna talk about Universal movie monsters. So recently, and I don't know when this episode's going up because, like I said, I really didn't plan this. I'm just going to do a section here. Recently, there was a Brickhead announced. It comes out September 15th, 2020, I believe. Don't hold me to that. But it is Frankenstein, and it's actually Frankenstein's monster, but it's the Universal Movies licensed Frankenstein's monster, and it's got logos and junk on it, which is nice and cool. And it's also like people keep saying monochromatic, and it's black and white and shades of grayscale. Let's go with grayscale. And they're talking about this opens the door to a lot more Universal stuff. We've already had Universal. They were the ones that signed on for the Lego movies, right? Warner Brothers got rid of the Lego movie license, and Universal was like, "Hey, that's us, right? Please." And yeah. So that's a big partnership step. And then we also had rumors back in the Lego Dimensions days that we were supposed to be getting Universal monsters. And there's a lot of classic monsters that we've got homages to. We've obviously gotten Frankenstein monsters in the movie studio sets and the Monster Fighters, I believe. We've also had vampires dozens of times in dozens of ways. Maybe not dozens, I guess I could actually count them. I know we got the Invisible Man and one of the Ultra Agents things, and Invisible Man, not the Invisible Man, sorry. So that's kind of but yeah, we've got that. We've gotten werewolves. We've gotten Swamp Monster. Swamp Monster's one of them, right? Hang on. I'm going to do a thing. Okay. So I pulled up the computer stuff, so we're just going to read some things. I should have probably had this open to begin with, but whatever. So the Universal Classic Monsters is what the franchise is called. There's been a remake and a reboot era. The original started in the 1920s and went to the 50s. The remake era was 79 through 2010, and then 2014 through present is the reboot era. And you might remember Dracula Untold, The Mummy 2017, and there's an Invisible Man movie coming out this year supposedly. So those are 3 new movies. But let's talk about the actual monsters. So some of the Universal Classic Monsters, according to HalloweenHorrorNights.fandom, the Universal Classic Monsters wiki page. The Hunchback of Notre Dame counts the Phantom from the Phantom of the Opera, Count Dracula, Frankenstein's monster, the Mummy, Invisible Man, Bride of Frankenstein, Gillman, so that's your swamp thing monster, the Werewolf of London, the Wolf Man. I don't know this one. Karis? Don't know that one. Igor, the Monitor of Mentaluna, the Mole Man, and Mr. Edward Hyde. So Edward Hyde is Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. So that's a classic monster. And then it's got like a whole list of things. But so we've got one brickhead revealed, and so like one brickhead doesn't mean sets. And I know a lot of people are already kind of like jumping around on that. They're saying, oh no, we're going to get some building sets. What figures do you think they're going to, minifigure scale building sets, what do you think they're going to include? I don't. Okay, let me not say I don't. I don't think yet. I'm under the impression, and just me being cynical, I suppose, but that they're going to do more brickheads. I can definitely see like a Wolfman, werewolf-esque brickman. However they want to do that, they can do it however they like. I know a Count Dracula would be a good one. If I could get my wish on that one, glow in the dark, please give me another glow in the dark brickhead. We got Batman number 1 or whatever, right? Brickhead's number 1 is Batman? No. It's not number 1. But the Lego movie Batman brickheads does have glow in the dark eyes. So give me another one of those for the vampire. That'd be cool as heck. But the one thing I do want, and you guys tell me how you feel about it, let me know. I want them to be colored. I don't want all grays and whites and blacks, because that's 4 colors currently. We don't have a light gray. We do have a medium gray, which is most people refer to as light gray, especially like Bricklink and stuff, but it's a light stone gray, a medium stone gray, black, and white. So that's 4 colors, and yeah, we can do a lot with those, but I think, yes, a like grayscale set of figures might look really cool, but maybe only give us like 3 or 4 of the classicest ones in, muted colors, grayscale, black and white. But give me some good ones, because so remember Chewbacca brickhead and how bad he looks, except he's so detailed and fuzzy, and he does look, I love it. I want a werewolf like that, though. I don't want, a Mickey Mouse Steamboat Willie kind of thing. I could see them doing, some updated colors, because like the movie posters all had color, as far as I know. And I'm not the biggest Universal monster fan, don't get me wrong. So I can't speak to like, hey, there's no reference for color, or there is reference, but we all know what color a werewolf is. We know what a vampire probably is mostly black and white, to be fair. But like you could choose some red scarves, or maybe like a blood drip if that's not too gory. At least, I don't know, just give me a little color there. Frankenstein's monster, obviously everyone kind of pictures him as green. A sand green color has been used for Frankenstein monsters in Lego before, so maybe that would be a thing. People love sand green. It's a good meme color. And then like, I don't know, Invisible Man. So, I guess they could all, as I'm talking it through, all of them you could do me 4. Give me an Invisible Man, mostly made of transparent bricks, and that'd be a real cool way for them to introduce some of those rare bricks into common pieces. Just give me I don't know exactly what that would be, but there wouldn't need detailing unless you wanted to do like kind of like a hat or something on top. But I was going to say for the head, you could just give me a big set of transparent bricks. That'd be cool. Do his body with like I always picture him in kind of like a bathrobe-esque thing, just kind of a very big jacket. Anyways, I think we're going to mostly get Brickheads, talking about that because I'm a Brickheads purist. I don't know if you guys know this about me, but I am all about those Brickheads, so I'd like to see more of them. But at the same time, I could see, possibility if the Brickheads sell well that we get some Universal sets. Most people are already like, oh, we're getting them, but we're getting so many crossovers and stuff. We can talk about that later, but we're getting that Adidas, right? Yeah. Maybe it's Nike. I don't know. We're getting shoes with Lego, Levi's with Lego. We're getting Ikea. There's so many big name crossovers right now that I would be surprised if we got a big minifigure set based on these. Not that it couldn't be done. Isn't Beetlejuice? Hang on. Is Beetlejuice Universal? Universal Beetlejuice. I probably should cut this, but you're hanging out with me. What the hell's this? Universal Monsters Live Rock and Roll Show, formerly known as Beetlejuice's Graveyard Mashup. Oh. Okay. It apparently did take place at Universal Studios Florida. Cool, so Beetlejuice is Universal? I'm changing from DuckDuckGo to Thing. Holy damn. Okay, so this is completely unrelated to anything we're talking about, but they're showing Beetlejuice today, tomorrow, the 9th and 10th. I'm recording this on the 7th, on Labor Day. They're showing in Universal City Walk Orlando, they're showing Beetlejuice. Huh. That's crazy. Okay, so anyways, back to the point. Beetlejuice is Universal then, I guess? Right? Like, who owns this man? I don't know where the thing... It says Warner Brothers on this page, so don't know. Yeah, it says Warner Brothers, huh? Anyways, never mind. I was gonna say, is he Universal Monsters? But I guess he's just licensed or something for this. Maybe that's why I had the association. Anyways, we did have Beetlejuice in Dimensions, but yeah, more like kind of. I see Brickheads going the way of Dimensions, where they pick very niche things, make a couple sets on them, and then be done. Whereas we didn't get a lot of those Dimensions themes as minifigure sets, unless you count the Dimensions packs that we got. You know, we didn't get we did have a Back to the Future before Dimensions, but we didn't get another Back to the Future. We had Scooby-Doo before it, but we didn't get more Scooby-Doo. We had A-Team. Did not get any sets with that ever. Don't think we ever will, unless maybe we get a Brickhead. But I don't think that necessarily pulp culture. This is Brickheads are the pop culture cash-in theme, like Dimensions used to be. And let me be a little rude here. Brickheads are dirt cheap to make. They have like one special printed piece, maybe a couple per Brickhead, and they're all basic squares and stuff for the most part. You get some snot stuff and a little bit of slopes and small pieces, but small pieces physically can't cost as much as big pieces because of the amount of plastic. I mean, the molding and stuff can cost, but the physical piece can't cost as much as a big piece. So cash in on those cheap licenses they can get from nostalgic stuff. Be very cynical about it with me here and say it. They're not making the minifigure stuff, but I'd love to be wrong about that. You guys like CMFs? The collector minifigures, you know what they are. The little blind bag figurines. It's 16 figures put into a box at random, tiny little bags you can't see through, but they're feelable because they don't put a paper or plastic insert like some blind bag companies do. At least, you know, I think that that's nice. So there's a rumor, and I don't want to spend too much time. Just we can talk about it though. There's a rumor that they're going to 12 figures per wave. Now we had 20 with the Series 1, 20, right? With the Series 1 Harry Potter CMF. This would be really cool if I had a co-host that could back me up on my vague knowledge of all things Lego with specific knowledge of things Lego. Anyways, but so the rumor is that they're going to 12. And I've heard a couple different opinions on this. First of all, does that make the sets cheaper? They're up to $5 recommended retail. That's how much you buy them from Lego for, $4.99. So if there's only 12 in a box or 12 in a set, the production cost per mold per set should be lower, so that should make them cheaper, possibly. They tend to give us new molds and specific molds and stuff. And I think we've even talked about this on this show, is that supposedly they have some different quality of molds. They're able to make molds that are only good for however many thousand parts, lower thousand number parts than the molds that they plan on using forever. There's no reason, if they're making a video game controller that's specific to one figure from the CMF line that they're not planning on reusing again, there's no reason to make the most expensive mold. So we do have some cheaper molds there. And again, maybe they're trying to foot the cost of some of these more expensive molds into the minifigure series to get them to be used later in City or whatever. So they can be like, oh, well, we've already paid for it with a $5 minifigure. But anyways, the point is are they going to be cheaper? Don't know. Are the figures going to be all home runs? Probably not. I've heard people say, oh, if there's only 12, there's a couple figures, 3 or 4 figures per collector minifigure series, CMF wave, that's not as good. They're just the lower tier ones. They're not going to have those ones. They'll cut out those bad figures. But no, they're still going to be bad figures. You're going to have a smaller size to compare them to. Maybe more will seem bad because there's not the immediate outlier of a variant firefighter that could have been in a City set, a random costume with no reference to a Lego product, such as a pea pot or a cactus. We don't have those as Lego things. Banana we have as a Lego, so fair enough. Hot dog, we technically have it. Neither the banana or the hot dog suit look very much like the Lego element, to be fair. So let's get that out of the way right now. New animals and stuff. Maybe we get a new animal, but a dog walker, a dog show champion, those kind of things. Those figures aren't terribly exciting. The accessory is, and without as many spots, maybe we don't get that accessory because they're like, well, we've already had a babysitter, so there's no reason to give them another babysitter with even this new baby print or mold. There's no, we don't need it. We've already done it once. Whereas when you've got 16, throw in a babysitter. We got this new mold for a baby that we want to throw out. So it's a fun little rumor, and I think there's a lot of good that could come from it. There's a lot of bad that could come from it. I'm not confident. Why would they have done this now? Why would they have said today? Not today, but whenever they decided, hey, 12 minifigures, let's drop it down. I think they should have done that. If they were going to do it, they should have probably done it for the DC series, because the Lego Batman movie series 2 was one of the weaker waves of CMFs, as far as I am aware, and I think a lot of people agree with that. So if you've got kind of a proven weaker theme, just go ahead and give it a little tap. Be like, hey, we're not confident in DC, here's 12. But I know what you're saying. Well, then DC would probably be pissy about it, because they'd be like, well, Harry Potter got these, Simpsons got these. Yeah, fair enough, but Harry Potter also got more than anyone else, so you can't really compare yourself to Harry Potter. the other thing, and this just occurred to me, speaking of licensing, I don't know exactly how these licensing agreements work out between the companies, obviously, but what if they don't want to pay for the licensing of 16 characters, 20 characters, or whatever? They just want, like, hey, listen, 12 is enough. We'll pay for that. So maybe I could see that. I could see that being a thing, and I don't know. Anyways, if you got stuff, let me know. You can hit me up on Twitter or Instagram. Those are linked all around. Or just, I mean, this is only going to be on YouTube, let's be honest. If it's on some other platform, I finally did it. I finally got platformed. But if not, just comment, why you think they'd be going to 12 or why you don't think they'd be going to 12. Like I said, my opinion is they're not. But I could be wrong. I feel like a lot of my opinions are probably a little cynical, a little sad boy feeling. So, and again, that's the vibe we're going for here on Sad Klocki Hour. So let me just be sad, and then maybe in the future I can be happy, right? Yeah. So this is one that I've wanted to talk about for a while, but the Osprey Lego set. Oh damn! I didn't pull up that reference. Lego Osprey. So the thing is, with this podcast, and let me be honest with you, it's just my chance to talk about things that don't fit in other videos, that don't need a video themselves necessarily. And yeah, I talk about them for 5 to 10 minutes each, so they probably could be their own video, but I don't want to spam my channel with this kind of stuff. I want to have them all together here for you, nice and easy. And just we can be a little sad about some these are sadder Lego topics. I want them to all be contained. I don't want you to just run into a sad Klocki Hour-esque content. But I'm going to close this website and go with the Brick Fan. Okay. So the Brick Fan has an article here, and it was published July 30th, 2020 by Alan Tran. You know him. Or don't, whatever. But he's been around. It's saying that the Technic Bell Boeing V-22 Osprey, which is set number 42113, was canceled due to faulty parts, with a question mark. And I think a lot of people have heard at this point that when you run it for not even that long of a time, when you run it for any amount of time, a fair amount of time, that one of the small Technic gears does wear out fairly quickly. So this article, I assume, is going to posit that the reason it was pulled was not because of the military implications of a aircraft that is exclusively used by the military. Yes, for search and rescue, but not. There's no civilian version. This version that they've created here is a hypothetical version that's not really in use, as far as I'm aware. And there would be money going to Bell and Boeing, both of which are, I guess, technically weapons manufacturers in some extent. So, like, there's money going to the war machine from the sale of a Lego set. And I don't want to get too deep into the philosophy of, like, well, I do. I want to get real deep into the philosophy of it, but I don't want to say whether the this rescue version of the vertical takeoff Osprey is, I don't want to say that it's military or not. I don't want to get into the finites of that exactly. And like I said, technically money would be going to the war machine of, companies that make things that are used in war. But let's talk about, I think the more interesting thing is, why is there no military role, and what counts as military? And okay, so I'm not a historian. I'm not even like a military expert. I'm a professional Lego man. I'm very good at Lego, so take from that as you will. But point out if I'm wrong about stuff. But let's get real deep here and say the rule for no realistic military was set down by Ole Kirk Christensen. And it's sometimes spelled with a C, sometimes spelled with a K. I don't know what the correct spelling. I think the correct spelling is K, O-K-K, which is fine. But his son's name does have a C. Gottfried Kurt Christensen. Anyways, let's not get into that because that's a whole other thing. But so now I've heard it said both ways. I've heard it said Ole and Ole. I'm going with Ole. But we can just say Mr. Lego, I guess, if it gets too confusing. But anyways, Kurt Christiansen was born in Denmark, and he lived in the early, 1900s. So it says here that in 1905, he was 14, and he began working as an apprentice for his brother, doing carpentry. And I should mention he was born in 1891, and he died in 1859 at 66 years old. Just quick. We're going through a quick biography here because we got to kind of understand this man to get at why that no military rule exists. Because here's where it's coming up shortly after the turn of the century. Is there some bad military stuff about to happen? But it says here on the Wikipedia page, there's a reference. I haven't checked the references, so any of these could be wrong. Again, not a historian myself. In 1911, he left Denmark and went to work in carpentry for 5 years in Germany. 5 years in Germany puts him to, 1916. That's what it says here. And as we know, World War I was happening between 1914 and 1918. And yeah, Germany wasn't like the main, one of the main sides, but they participated. Everyone participated. It was a world war. So he was in Germany during World War I, according to Wikipedia. And yeah, I don't know what he saw. He was a carpenter. As far as I know, he didn't serve in any armed forces for any country, but he did continue to make carpentry. I know that I've watched, I think it's the History of the Lego Brick documentary. I don't know the exact name, I guess, but they mentioned that the wars made shortages of wood and other, wartime supplies. So he did start making toys at some point during one of the wars. But if that wasn't bad enough, so the next thing on the Wikipedia article is 1924, which says that there was a fire. Yeah, the first fire. In 1924, there was a fire that broke out in the factory, the carpentry factory, and burned their house and everything down. So that sucks, but don't worry, because the Depression starts next. And in the 1930s and into the 20s into the 30s would be the Depression, kind of stemming off of the tail end of the First World War, the Great Depression. And it was worldwide bad stuff as far as I know. And so there was a carpenter trying to sell stuff. It says here he was able to make Christmas tree stands and toys during that time. So cool. We're making some toys, having some good times. And in 1934, he decided to name his company, and it's when he got the name. But that's so he would have been in the World War, in World War One, first, then into the Depression, having a hard time selling anything. People just didn't have the money to buy stuff. And then that's going to all end. He's starting up his company. World War II starts up. And I, again, not 100% sure on Denmark's involvement. I don't know where Kurt Christensen would be during that time. I assume he'd be in Denmark. But he would have definitely had to live with the consequences of people he knew going off to war, not coming back injured and all that. And yeah, I know kids have always played war, grab a stick, it's a gun, boom, grab a stick, it's a sword, chop. That's what they do. But so to extrapolate, we've kind of lost the thread, and that's me. Sorry, guys. But to extrapolate on this, he would have seen these horrors. He would have had firsthand, if not very close secondhand, experiences with all of this. And I think that the no war rule is very fair, considering those things, the no realistic military. And now if I type in Lego no war rule, and then I'll hit the exclamation point G for DuckDuckGo to take me to Google, because this one's going to be a weird one. My phone decided to talk to me about that. Eurobrick's got a thing on it. I can't find fair play notices and legal. I don't know. I've never seen the actual quote from Lego, is what I'm getting at. So I don't know the explicit wording of it. But yeah, I don't see anything here showing me that thing. So if you have the actual wording of the thing, but I know that the basic gist of it is no realistic modern military depictions. And I think that is very, very realistic and fair of the company to want, considering all the things that the founder would have went through. Excuse me, I had a little bit of bad audio there. Realistic for the things the founder went through, but then also his children would have went through a lot of that. His grandchildren even, would have still been, anyone whose family has served in war, you're going to get some passed down, stories and stuff, and it's not sunshine and rainbows for sure. So having fantasy castle war, figures shooting ballistas and stuff, that's, it's a make-believe thing. You're very disconnected from it. Lord of the Rings, magic and all that. Harry Potter, there's wizards and no guns shooting back and forth. Even if you want to go say, oh well, Johnny Thunder had a pistol. He always carried his revolver. Yeah, but that is a fantasy setting, if you ever seen one. He doesn't ever shoot anyone as far as we know. There are some bullet holes in some of the planes, I believe, but again, it's a very abstract, not a realistic, here's this Boeing plane that is, currently in service in the military. So the thought is there. Now I'm going to just end it off and say that I think that realistically they could have made the Boeing. I think it was the faulty part that was the big thing, because let's open up a new Google tab and try and find this cool thing and see Lego recall. So I think, and it's been, product recalls. Good news, no new product recalls since 2009. Now, the 2009 was a Power Functions remote thing, and before that was a 2002 Duplo truck. And those are the only two that are on their website. But let's be honest here. If they never release the set officially, they don't have to do a recall for it. Anyone who has one got it through, I wouldn't say illegal means, but they got it through less than by the books means. It means that someone put out the set early at a store and then it was sold, or it got, it fell off a truck and made their way to someone else. Fell off a truck is code for it got stolen. So I would say is that a part failing doesn't necessarily constitute a recall, but why would you deal with a recall in 2020, over 10 years since your last recall as a toy company, when you can say, oh no, we didn't sell that set, we don't have to deal with it. And maybe that's me again, being just a little cynical here on Sad Klocki Hour, just being a little goofy, just, hey guys, what if Lego had a little bit of a conspiracy theory thrown around here? But let's be realistic. The part fails for most of the people, as far as I'm aware, that have the set and power it up and the whole thing, and it seems to be failing. And again, it's modifiable. Like, I could have fixed it, but it's a weird thing. But I think that the reason the Osprey V-22 got canceled was the faulty part. And I think that the no military rule from Lego is fair. And I think that the end of this segment should just be me saying that I know a lot of people think, oh, they should do more military stuff, support the military, all that stuff. But I think that's a perfectly reasonable thing for a toy company to avoid. And they could have just been honest with us, though, if you want to get that way, and been like, hey, this set is not up to our standards, we're not releasing it. So maybe we'll hear more about that in the future, but realistically, this ramble had no end point, and I don't really apologize for that, but let's go on to the next segment. Now, I'm sure you all appreciate that this is where the ad would go if I had one, but instead we're just going to hope that the YouTube demigods have deigned us worthy of an ad, and I'll put an ad break around here. If you got an ad, that's pretty cool. If not, we're just going to have a couple, not minutes, 30 seconds or so of music, just a little interlude here, just give you a little break from the monotony, just something relaxing, something you might like. Please enjoy it. So let's talk about, this is a subject, we're going to be talking about the commoditization of Lego, how they've kind of combined with a bunch of brands that don't seem like great fits, and just kind of, I want to do, it's Sad Klocki Hour, so, put on your big boy pants, and I guess you can go to the restroom if you need to at this point, but so anyways, Adidas, Levi's, and Ikea. When they announced Ikea, cool. Maybe they'll give us like a desk with like Lego drawers, or some cool chairs with like Lego built on the back of the back, so you're not leaning on the Lego, but like maybe you could build up the wall, or there's 1,000 different things they could have done. They came out with shoe boxes with Lego on the top that also holds the lid on, maybe. Not 100% sure, so we're going to complain about things I don't know about because that's the Sad Klocki Hour way, isn't it? Anyways, I was excited for that one. Adidas, not excited about it at all. And Levi's, I guess maybe. Now, here's the thing I'm going to say. Clothing brands and Lego cross promotion things, pretty cool. I like, I've got a Uniqlo shirt with Lego bricks on it. Fairly comfortable. I like Uniqlo products, pretty good. And it's just a graphic tee, and we can go into the whole thing of like whether you should pay money for a branded shirt. Like, hey, I would like to advertise your product. Here is my money. Let me do the advertising for you. But in the grand scheme of things, that's the least amount of advertising I do for Lego. I have an entire YouTube channel where I post a lot of overall positive stuff from, the perspective of an adult that does build Lego. So I would say that I do a lot of advertising for them, and I don't do it because I want them to pay me, but, I do pay them money. The money goes to them, and regardless of what store I go to. If I go to Target or the Lego store, Walmart, buy something used on eBay, the money has made it to them at some point. And I think that's an important thing to remember when we talk about all three of the things that we're talking about right now, is that the money is going to get to Lego regardless of where you buy it. So I know a lot of people are saying, I won't buy it full price. I'll wait for it to go on clearance or something, or I don't plan on buying Levi's with Lego logos. I don't know what the Levi's one's going to be because I don't think I've seen a product for it, but I have seen the Ikea, and it's a storage box set, 3 different size storage boxes, I believe, and a special pack of kind of, I would call it a classic, or not quite a creator. I'd call it a classic pack. It's a box of Lego with a minifigure, 2 minifigures, something, and just some random colors kind of mixed in. And it's like, here, put these on your new Ikea boxes. Cool. Adidas. So the video that I saw looks like it's a Lego storage box, but you open it, like you lift the lid off, and then there's like, it looks like it's made of Lego bricks, like the lower half of the box. Don't know what that's about. But then the shoe does have 6 studs on the like laces, and then it looks like it's got some more studs around the back, but I can't tell if any of them are real studs. The one picture I saw of a close-up of the laces, it's kind of like, through the laces, like a brick with some holes that the laces are laced through, and then it goes through the shoe like normal. But they don't look terribly system. Maybe it's just a bad picture, but it doesn't look like they're. They might fit something, but it doesn't. It's a like 2x3 brick, and it doesn't scream Lego square edges. It's got the Lego writing, the logo on it, but it doesn't look right. It might not be made by Lego. It might be made by Adidas. Don't know. Not gonna go into the semantics of who should be making the bricks and who should be making the products, but we will talk about. I'm giving you the background so we can talk about, has Lego overly commoditized itself? Same thing with licensed themes. We talked about Universal monster theme earlier and how like that might play out, but I know people, this is going to be a lot of complaining, and hey, this is if Lego proper, the Lego group. So when I say Lego, a lot of the time I do mean the Lego group. Watch for the changes and see if you can keep up. But the product, I overall have no complaints against. There's some things that I wouldn't have loved if, maybe they go overly specialized into pieces or the quality's going down. But overall, the product, very good, still very enthusiastic about it. The company, questionable choices. So let's alienate ourselves to the Lego group by complaining about their current business practices. Now, I guess it's important to say that licensed themes saved Lego from bankruptcy. Yeah, and so did Bionicle. And so did, cutting down their piece catalog. They streamlined a lot of the extraneous big late 90, early 2000, real big like base pieces for cars and like fat bricks that were awkwardly shaped for one specific use were cut down. But now we've gotten back into the point where they've got like car bases for juniors and they've got boat bases for juniors, and they're only used for that. And there's a bunch of specialized pieces that are only used for one or two things. But we've also discussed at some point recently, was in this? Yeah, I think it was in this. We talked about the difference in mold making now, but Overall, we haven't had a long-lasting space theme since Star Wars started, and to be fair, we didn't have that many long-lasting space themes before Star Wars started. Nothing's ever lasted as long as Star Wars, so you have a hard time saying that, but we had Space Police 3, and was that it? Might be it. Anyways, castle themes have come and gone. We haven't had a castle theme running along the new release of Harry Potter, and a lot of people speculate that that is our new castle theme. I'm included in that, to be fair. I say that that is a castle theme, whether I want it to be or not. They've been treating it very modular style, like classic castles were, where you can buy 3 or 4 sets from different years, and they all smack together relatively fine. They have a system to combine. Cool. But the thing is that you got to remember is that LEGO doesn't have to advertise for those. They don't have to say, hey, you know Star Wars, you know Harry Potter, we're LEGO and we do them. They do advertise, but the brands will pull in people themselves. People log into the LEGO website, they see Harry Potter, what? And they click it. The bookstores always having the nerdy themes. Bookstores are becoming weird things in the US, at least. They're kind of nerd shops. They've got a lot of plush and collectibles, and not that they shouldn't have comic books, because they should have comic books, but a lot of things that are peripherals to those nerdy culture things that, just things that sell better than books, let's be honest. So they've got the Harry Potter minifigures at bookstores. So you're like, okay, Harry Potter minifigures, I don't buy Lego, but like a mystery pack of a Harry Potter that could be Lily Potter, whoa, and someone buys it, cool. So it's doing its job. It's making money for the company, and that's what it's here for. So, but who goes to Ikea and says, man, I need to organize these Lego? And I guess that is what I'm going to do when they come out. I think they come out in October, technically. I know people have been getting them, and I think they came out in like Germany or something months ago at this point. But the point being, what I'm getting at here is that I don't think anyone thought that was the logical progression for Lego, was like, hey, just slap a little box with some studs on it and go. I don't think it's a terribly bad idea. Don't get me wrong, like I said. But I don't think IKEA's brand recognition was a big thing. I think it's more of like, hey, I'm in Ikea and I need a fun container for my kids' toys. Oh, here's one that's co-branded with Lego. Okay, I'll buy it. They do seem a tad expensive to me, but I don't have the prices in front of me to show you. So let's do that. Let's type in Lego Ikea, and we'll just hit that search button. Here it is, the Beetlejuice collection. Now, does it have prices here? It's got the pictures. Now, the one thing I will say that's real fun is that they made room for a big panel piece on the side, so you can put like a piece of paper behind it. This is the IKEA website, and I'm not seeing prices. It comes in October, it says. Okay, let's try again. There's a bunch of YouTube videos on it. Cool. Let me have shopping. Nope. So I am going to type in prices now. Okay, so the New York Post has prices, so let's run through these. Desktop browser notifications, no New York Post. Jeez, leave me alone. So, it says the small box is $9.99, and there is a Lego set for $14.99. So the $10, I don't know, the box seems pretty small, the small box. It links me to the same website page, but there's pictures of the different size boxes. I don't know. I'm thinking the small box looks kind of small for $10, but it does have studs and stuff, so I guess you can say that that's going to raise the cost But they go up from there, I assume. So again, a shoebox is cheap. The crates that I get for storage and stuff, and they're just cheapy crates from Walmart, are $5 or something, and they're much bigger than the small box. But the point I'm getting at here, and this is all just me rambling. The whole podcast is me rambling about things that vaguely upset me or make me sad with Lego. So I don't need to justify to you why I'm rambling. You're here for it. You're already however many minutes into a podcast about this. But I don't see... It's a dangerous slope, I guess, is what I'm getting at. A slippery, dangerous, slippery slope for Lego to be going down. Just, hey, do you want to do a brand collaboration? And let's just do it. I think a storage box is a positive thing. I know that once upon a time, and they still do variations on the bucket, the Lego bucket, but everyone used to have a Lego bucket, had 4 studs on the top, and the lid came off, and it had a handle, and you threw all your Lego in, and it didn't have any kind of building built into the, no connections built into the exterior, but you had buckets, and they stacked together, I guess, to some extent. But you bought your bricks in that, so you didn't, have to worry about what to put them in when you were done, because that's what you had. I had a couple as a kid. I think I had 2 buckets. Plus, I had a suitcase that was handed down to me. So that's besides the point. But now there's definitely a focus on, I feel like, Lego to be displayed. So having a bigger building area to kind of like, hey, this is somewhere to put your bricks, but also something to display them on. Kind of makes sense, I guess. I'm not saying it's a bad idea. It's just a weird idea that I wouldn't have come up with. And again, that's why I'm not making the big Lego money, isn't it? The Adidas. Let's talk about the shoes again real quickly. If sneakerheads are a thing, and I'm not even remotely trying to say you shouldn't collect things that you like. If you like them, like them. I'm just saying that it's a weird one when you're... Again, it's a collection. So, fine. But when, shoes are... For me, shoes are a utilitarian thing. I put my shoes on. I do have some favorite brands and stuff, and I have bought more expensive pairs for certain applications, like work shoes and stuff. I'm not saying to only buy cheap, flip-flops or whatever and bum around, but I wear my shoes until they've basically got a hole in them or their soles are wearing out or whatever. I'm wearing them till they bust. And that's just me. That's my thing. I know that there's people that like, oh damn, you can't lift a shoe by the top. You got to lift it by the hard rubber bottom so you don't crease it. Fair enough. I mean, you don't just grab a comic book by the front cover, but I don't know if there's a lot of crossover between Lego collectors and shoe collectors that's going to drive the market, I would say organically, quote unquote, because they're here for both things. They want Lego and they want shoes. I think you're going to have a lot of people saying, I like Lego, I'm going to collect them, and then buy a pair and never wear them. Fine. And you got a lot of people that says, I collect shoes, and they're going to buy them because Lego, wow, what a crazy thing. So they're both buying it because it's their primary hobby, I think. I don't think you've got a lot of crossover, which I want to say isn't a bad thing. Don't get me wrong. It's not bad, but it's a weird one again. It's like Dimensions, I think, is a good example. A lot of people that collect Lego like video games. A lot of people that play video games like Lego to some extent. I think there's more crossover there, so let's do some crossover things, make some toys that scan in, some obscure things, the obscure licensing things. Lego Dimensions kind of is I would say the seed for a lot of their current, maybe not seed, but a representation of a lot of their current business philosophies, their business practices. It's like, hey, we can get people to buy a very overpriced Lego set if it's got a thing they care about enough, a license that we don't deal with enough. Portal. It's got Portal. people love that shell. They really want her as a square mini figurine. Cool. So they did it, and it works. And maybe that's the driving force. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's just that, Adidas was like, hey, we cross over with a lot of brands. Why don't you? And traditionally, Lego's been fairly non-crossover with random stuff. So I think maybe it's the logical progression, I suppose. The world's most popular toy brand saying, here's us doing another thing. So I'm not mad, just a little sad. I could have seen them cross over with other things. Let's just throw out some other things they could have crossed over with. Computers. If they had a Dell or Gateway. Is Gateway still a thing? I don't think so. Alienware or something. And maybe I wouldn't have bought it, but like people that like Lego like using the internet. You have to be fairly savvy at using the internet to keep up with the more obscure Lego things, their exclusives, their online only stuff, keeping up with release dates, So if you had a Lego decoed computer, you could build on the outside and show off how quirky you are in public at the Starbucks. You can put some Lego pieces on your shoes or something. Okay. Then let's move on to Levi's, though. Levi's, like I said, I do enjoy my clothing brands, and I don't have super strong feelings about clothing brands, I guess. We're going to be super technical. Hanes and Fruit of the Loom, kind of keep my junk in control. So, like, I would probably buy other brands of undergarments and socks. But those are the two I look for when I go out into public to buy my unmentionables. I've got... I like Dr. Scholl's. Those guys do some very reasonable shoes and gel inserts, But for my shirt, kind of whatever's on the shirt matters more to me, I guess. And I would say, I've made this argument with people in real life, just saying is you shouldn't be buying shirts and paying for the advertising. I know we forayed into this argument before, but it's kind of true, is that, like, I've had old people kind of tell me this. If you notice, a lot of old people wear patterned shirts or just plain, white or black or something. And it's because there's definitely a philosophy where they're like, I'm not, here to support a company for no reason. Perhaps they wear a shirt of their favorite sportsman. They wear a shirt and it says sports team locals, oh boy. And, you're like, wow, that's cool. And, it's because they want to show support for a specific idea. And to be fair, a lot of my shirts currently are more idea-based. A Batman logo, not a DC logo. Lego bricks instead of a Lego logo, I guess, technically, but that one's getting very close, I would say. I've got one with some I've got ones with flat out brands on them, and someone paid money. I don't think I bought that one with the flat out brand on it. Could be wrong. But no, someone paid money to a company that makes shirts that paid money to a brand to get their likeness on the shirt. And that's pretty damn American, I guess. I mean, it's very capitalistic. So I'm not saying don't do that, companies, but I would like something more exciting than a pair of jeans with a Lego logo. Give me some brick designs, I guess. I don't know how patterned jeans, I don't think those are doing so hot in 2020. Maybe a jean jacket with some studs on, like, the elbows or the collar, somewhere you can, like, decorate up. I could see a Lego Dots x Levi, throw Dots and Levi together, make it cool. But overall, I'm not super super confident that was the marketing one. And again, here's the secret. I don't have to buy any of these 3 branded co-branding things that I don't like. I will be buying the Ikea boxes because they are Lego. And I do like Ikea a lot, actually. I've got a lot of Ikea things. My desk is from Ikea. My chair is from Ikea. A lot of things in the room are variants of, things that I got at Ikea that have been modified slightly or not even at all, So let's not say I don't like Ikea. So I like both of those brands. I guess I will be buying. Definitely I want the parts pack, the $15, 200-piece, whatever, classic-esque set. I'm getting that because this is crazy that it's Ikea. But, unless they do like a Brickheads, Adidas Brickheads, or Levi's Brickheads, I don't think I'm going to be participating in those ones, but I could be wrong. They could wow me. Maybe that's what I want. I just want to be wowed, and shoes and jeans don't tend to do it for me. Storage solutions and furniture is a little bit more wowing for me as I reach into those final years of my life, the twilight years of becoming an ancient fan. Maybe I just float down the river into adulthood so hard that, damn, I would have been excited for an end table with a Lego logo. Maybe that's the sad part of today's episode, actually. Nah. But I did say it a couple times, I don't want to say that collecting things or being into different things is wrong. 100% do them. And I'm sure that there is a small subsection of shoe collectors and Lego collectors that overlaps that are losing their minds. They're probably like dying to be able to get these Lego Adidas shoes or whatever, So I'm happy for them. And honestly, maybe that's what I need. Maybe I need someone to tell me why it's a big deal. Oh, Adidas doesn't do crossover with toy companies, So this is a big deal. Maybe they'll be able to do Transformers next, something like that. Maybe I'm missing some nuance there. And like I said, Lego doesn't cross over with that many companies in a way that's announced and publicized. And here's a big deal. You don't understand, guy. This is the moment. Maybe I'm missing something. So I'm please let me be missing something. But the sad hour rant of it all, the whole thing coming together, is just that I want Lego to be more the thing I want. I want them to do things that I like more. You jerks. Don't do things that other people like. But really, the takeaway is just that is Lego going? Are they straying too far from God's light, farther and farther each day, or are they adapting? I mean, realistically, they're probably just adapting, and this is probably only good news for people that actually like the core product, but say not. So, if you want to get in touch with me about this one too, any of these things, just get in touch with me. Say hello. Don't say hello. Saying hello as a complete comment, mediocre. I appreciate you guys saying hello to me, but just throw in a thought. Give me something original. Exist in a larger capacity. Say, yeah, I am excited for the Adidas. I'm excited for Levi. I'm excited for Ikea. I actually am. You know what? Maybe the thing that's more exciting to me, and hang on here, the more exciting thing is to see what they can do. And like I said, maybe to be wowed. Maybe if they can get these kind of basic collaborations underway, maybe we can get Supreme X Lego, where we get a Supreme Lego set, $1 million Lego set that's kind of just like a red Lego brick with the Supreme on it. something really, really obscure and bad that I actually really need now. Someone's got a Supreme Lego brick, right? That's a thing. It's got to be a thing. Get on it, internet, make that. So, I think we've talked a lot today, and I want to do these more frequently. This is gonna be the end of the episode. I'm gonna try not to talk about no more sad stuff, happy stuff, just to kind of ramp you up, get you out of here. I want to make more episodes of the Sad Klocki Hour, so of course let me know stuff about that. Maybe I'll do some co-hosting or some more segments. We have introduced, this is the 4th episode, and introduced in the 3rd episode was a kind of reoccurring segment that I have not reoccurred of the things dreams are made of. This is what dreams are made of. And it was the idea was to just talk for 5 minutes with a random guest, but it's a little difficult to wrangle guests into being on your podcast regularly, and I don't plan these things out at all. Like, I woke up this morning and I said, hey, I am going to make a podcast over the course of the day, and I'm doing it pretty good. I mean, this is the end of it, and I do have a bunch of editing and stuff to do, but you're not concerned with that. So I said that I was going to keep this happy, and then I go on complaining about how hard it is to make a podcast. It's easy. It's real easy to make a podcast. You just talk at your computer for like an hour and then hit some buttons and it does some computer thinking. Don't let me complain about it. But I do want to get some people in there. So I had asked on Instagram, like, hey, what are some people you want to see me talk with about stuff? And that was more like for actual Lego video collaborations on my YouTube channel, but maybe I'll pull some of them. Just, easy way, like, hey, what are you into? What Lego sets you want to see made? About Levi's? Tell me why this is a big deal. So we can do some of that stuff, hopefully, in the future. I want to say thanks to all the people out there that are actually supporting this and made it this far. You guys are pretty damn cool. The ancient fans of Lego are really, they're supportive people. I don't have a large audience, I would say. I'd say I've got, enough people to keep it interesting. I don't have 2 people arguing in every comment section, but, we don't have hundreds where I don't recognize the names every time I post a video. So I think we're in a pretty good spot. I can talk for an hour and you guys listen. That's pretty good to me. So this episode is going to run a little longer because I am going to play some more music for you guys. Just keep it a little light, just a little happy note to go out on here at the end. Kind of like the olden day radio broadcast would just end their news segment with just a little bit of music to fill the time. I don't know what kind of time slot I'm going to get with this podcast, but just give those networks a little bit more to work with so they can cut some of the music out, or just a little bit, so they don't have to cut an entire segment. They can just be like, hey, you went a little long here, get rid of that music, shoo, goodbye. So anyways, actually goodbye. Thanks for watching, listening, whatever it is, podcasting. I don't really have a motto.